Huh? الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن سار سبيله إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So tonight, inshallah, we'll continue discussing what we had started for the past few weeks. We're discussing the book which is Muqtasar Hilat Talabat al-Ilm li Shaykh Bakr Abu Zayd rahimahullah ta'ala. So as we had mentioned that this particular book, that the purpose of this book and book of this nature is to discuss concerning matters relating to the adab, those behavior and etiquettes of the talib al-ilm. So it gives certain guidelines regarding how the talib al-ilm should function regarding as a person. Then also discuss concerning how he function with his teachers. Also he covers also comes concerning that kayfiyat talab wa talaqi, also the method regarding how the talib al-ilm should go about in seeking of knowledge, and also the program that one should follow, that should be in place to be followed for a person to be considered to be a valid talib al-ilm. Then also the author rahimahullah, he discussed concerning with also talaqi of those things that one should take into account or bear in mind regarding of those adab regarding with his sheikh. So of those things regarding what are the adab that one should pay attention to regarding their sheikh, and what are the adab that the person should fulfill towards the sheikh. Then also of those things how to go about seeking of a teacher, and what are those things that one should look for in one's teacher. And also he discussed concerning the matter concerning at-talaqi and mubtada, regarding concerning the matter to discuss a lot by most regarding what are those things, those criteria regarding studying from people who are said to be from Ahli Bidah wal Ahwa. Then we went into discuss concerning, the author went into discussing this muqtasar matters regarding the adab, regarding his other student of knowledge. And also we started discuss other features regarding the talib al-ilm. Then we ended discussion regarding of those things regarding the talib al-ilm that having concerning his tools. So the tools of the talib al-ilm would be concerning his books. So the person, the talib al-ilm, having a library, putting together a library. So what are those things that he should try to, or the books that he should try to collect regarding putting or making a library. So we started a discussion regarding what the Shaykh have mentioned in brief, and also kind of somewhat added some matter. So we started a discussion regarding concerning the type, the library, and they discussed first regarding, as we mentioned, that of those signs of Islam, that there are many. So of those primary signs we discussed, which is understanding the Quran, then also al-fiqh, hadith, what else? So we have al-Quran, hadith, fiqh, what else? Aqidah, also matter relates to as-sirah, wa-tariq, al-lugha, wal-adab wal-suluk, wal-raqa'iq. So these of those things also matter related to as-siyasat al-shar'iyya. So also the science regarding as-siyas, we said that siyasat al-shar'iyya matter relates to Islamic governance and the likes. So we cover, as the author we have mentioned regarding of those things regarding what are those books that one should regarding putting a maktaba, a library together for the talib al-ilm, that as he mentioned, that is something that the talib should be attached to his books. And also the talib, that also he should have that love towards books. In today's time, you find that we have concerning physical copies of books, and also we have what is called the electronic type of books. So we are more discussing regarding those which is books that are the hard copy. So as for the concern of talib al-ilm and those books that you try to have access to, say certainty the talib should have access to, meaning as physical copies. And also, there's other things that he may not, due to his circumstance situation, may not have access to those physical copy. But at least he has a copy to it by what says, no, the electronic type of copy. But there are certain things that he must and should have. There are certain things that he must and should have. Those must and should have, they may vary from the talib regarding. There's things that is, they said, there's usul kutub, certain books that he should have regarding every science. And also you might find that the talib, based upon the year that he specialized in, or what he thinks he specialized in, or been trained in that particular area, or you have an inclination and interest towards a particular science. Then also you would have, you'll have books on that science that will be of those things that he should have for that science, because he said to have interest in that. So we're discussing concerning overall, I will mention overall regarding as for what will be within that library and the books that the talib will try to gather over the years, that you have books that are said mutun, muqtasarat, books are like said muqtasarat, muqtasarat in English, the brief books, the abridged books. Nam, so said muqtasarat, sometimes they said mutun, which is not necessarily an abridgment, but just that it without dalil. So sometimes they said mutun by way of certain books where matun may vary, that at times the word mutun or matan is a book, for example in fiqh, that it mentions masail but without dalil. And sometimes they come in volumes. So sometimes they're not per se an abridgment or not per se a summary. It's actually itself a large book. But those large books, they come without dalil. You just mention, do this, do that, don't do this, and mention things in this fashion, but without dalil. But it's in 3 volumes. With me? So you have matun, which are those books that are normally studied. Then so the talib should have those books. Then also you have those books which is the shuruhat of those books. Then also you have those books are for the more advanced, and also books for, we said mawdu'i, books that are meant for specific topics, where they go into detail on a particular topic. So talib should have something of all those works, on all those different areas. So discuss concerning Quran. We're going to say, fahm al-Quran. So the end is to fahm al-Quran. So regarding concerning Quran and its science, it goes into many areas. Concerning fahm al-Quran, the person needs books in tafsir. So of the more popular books you find, most will give attention to books. So they said books of tafsir regarding Quran. Nam, both said that's only one of the science that relates to the Quran. So you have tafsir. You have books of tajweed wal qiraat. You have books of ashbab wal nadahir. You have books of asbab al nuzul. You have books of i'rab al Quran. Nam, you have books of fadal al Quran. You have books of qawaid al tafsir. You have books of usul al tafsir. You have books of ulum al Quran. So over 10 or plus sciences related to the Quran. So tafsir just one of this. But the books of tafsir at times they can give you a combination of all those things mentioned. But each of those are their separate science. But tafsir give you a general outline of all those things at times. So you have popular in tafsir. You have books of tafsir, as we mentioned before, of tafsir also. You have different mana'ij. So the ulama who have written in tafsir, that they may follow a different method regarding their approach regarding tafsir. So you have books of tafsir, that's enough of the myth concerning books of tafsir, which is book, they said that tafsir bil ma'thur. So tafsir bil ma'thur, or another way of saying tafsir bil athar wal riwayah. Tafsir bil riwayah, meaning concerning those books of tafsir, when they mention a tafsir which is mainly concerning tafsir bil hadith, or tafsir بأقوال الصحابة أو تابعين أتباع التابعين, that 4 generation, meaning concerning the Prophet of Islam, the Sahaba, the Tabi'in, Atba' Tabi'in. That normally those books, something of those books that come with ma'thur, in the sense of they will mention aqwal of those of those based upon isnad. So the tafsir of Ibn Abbas with an isnad. So you have books of that nature. So the famous book in that nature would be, the famous book in that era would be which one? But the tafsir bil riwayah would be the famous one, which would be the famous one. Somewhat Ibn Kathir, somewhat Ibn Kathir. So I wanted to mention the VF. So you have Ibn Abi Hatim al-Razi, that he has a tafsir of that nature. So where he only mention aqwal without mention anything regarding his own opinion. So everything he mentioned regarding tafsir is only thing of others, which is from the Prophet Islam, or from the Sahaba or Tabi'in, Atba' Tabi'in. He doesn't mention his aqwal. He don't mention things and meant with isnad. But that book is published about 16 or so volume, but it's incomplete. But a tafsir of those type where the author, he does not comment on anything. He just mentioned aqwal of those mentioned before, but with isnad. Now, then you have like Suyuti rahimahullah, that he has a book that is called Ad-Durr al-Manthur, that also in the same approach. Now, then you have others. So you have those type of tafsir. Then you have concerning Ibn Jarir at-Tabari, tafsir at-Tabari, where at-Tabari rahimahullah, he mentioned aqwal of others, but also he mentioned his own aqwal and his own view and opinion regarding. So he'll mention what have been said by others from the Salaf, but also if there's a khilaf, then he'll give his own take on the matter. Meaning take on terms of those aqwal, the one that he believes to be the more correct view. So he'll mention, so he has from someone, so he has his own tarjihat, where he'll mention what have been said by others from the Salaf, but then if there's a khilaf on that matter, then he will state what he believes to be the most correct view. Nam. So I said his tafsir is tafsir which is both tafsir bil riwaya and also his own ijtihad, bil ar-rahi, where he gives his own conclusion. So you have other books of tafsir. So I said of the main books of tafsir, that sometimes you have said large ones. Nam. So you have tafsir Ibn Abi Hatim, tafsir Ibn Atiyah, which is more linguistic. Nam. Then you have tafsir. So you have one called Al-Wahidi. So Al-Wahidi, he has 3 books in tafsir. He has Basit, Wasit, Wajiz. So Basit is the one that goes, it is 26 volume. Then he condensed it to, so that is Basit. Then he has Basit, Wasit is the second, that one, about the print now, about 8 or so, but that's a middle one. Then you have Al-Wajiz is the condensed one, which is about 2 volume. But he has books in tafsir on 3 levels. But also his books are important books in tafsir. Then he have concern is more than one aqwal he will mention. This person said so, but without isnad. But you have, so in a summarized way, you can somewhat give you the aqwal of the ulama on a particular ayah. What do they say? And you mention all the people who take the particular stuff, become an important tafsir regarding that particular approach. Second to that is also Al-Marwardi, which is Shafi'i, that also have the same approach, that you give the aqwal of the ulama on particular ayat. Then you have the likes of Ash-Shawkani, and Shawkani book they mention is like it's a muqtasar of Al-Qurtubi. So you have Fathul Qadir by Shawkani, and his name will come up again and many things. So Shawkani of the 12th century ulama of Yemen, but also a master have written on various science, tafsir, fiqh, usul al-fiqh, hadith. So you have written another science, other areas that can also have different rasail on different topics. So Shawkani of those who have written on many other science, but also have a book in tafsir. He has a book in tafsir which is Fathul Qadir. Also they have said a more famous one, which would be Ibn Kathir. So you have Ibn Kathir / and also side by side Ibn Kathir said Ibn Kathir more concerning Al-Madaris Salafiyya. Ibn Kathir will be the masterpiece. Nam will be the main one that is studied. Then also beside Ibn Kathir that we study would be Al-Baghawi. So if amongst the Salafis in their Madaris, that for book of tafsir of that level would be Ibn Kathir. If not Ibn Kathir, would be the substitute would be what? Al-Baghawi, the tafsir of Al-Baghawi. Aywa. Yeah, he has commentary. So I mentioned riwayat and also aqwal of the Salaf, and also give his own commentary and the likes.
He includes the riwayat as well. Ibn Kathir also includes the riwayat.
So Ibn Kathir, with Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, sometimes we mention the tafsir of using a hadith, but we bring the full isnad. Like for example, the book of Ahmad of Musnad, he mentioned a lot of riwayat from Musnad. But because Ibn Kathir is like 7th century back, you understand? There is a mention of the isnad kind of somewhat lengthen the book. You with me? So some see it as like those who make mukhtasar of his work, then just drop the isnad. Because he does mention isnad, where they see it at that stage, he see it as something that he wanted to do, but some may see it as, was it necessary? But he thought that was his approach, though. But that's his approach of Ibn Kathir rahimahullah. So you have Al-Qurtubi, as we mentioned, that also another method of tafsir is regarding Ahadith al-Ahkam, Ayat al-Ahkam. So you have certain ayat, more focused on those ayat that relates to ahkam. Now, so but they said then with that you find most madhahib that they'll have their own book, kind of somewhat to use the ayat to strengthen their positions. So you have the Hanafi, Shafi, Maliki, and the Hanabila. There are books of that nature. So you have Al-Qurtubi, of the more famous of those, even though his tafsir goes beyond this. And the thing that with his tafsir mentioned that every ayah mentioned, in this particular ayah, there's like 17 masail. And he started to go through each of them. So that's how he structured books. So he mentioned things that in this particular ayah, there's like 17 main points, and you just go through each of them one by one. So after better is very organized in that fashion, in that approach. Also another one that is lent the most of contemporary or close enough time, because you have contemporaries that have passed away. We discuss those who have passed away 100 or so years. We have Ruhul Ma'ani. So there's also a very long tafsir that maybe about 30-something volume by one called Alusi. So Alusi, he wrote this tafsir, but Alusi, and it is a lot of good, but also he was Nashqabandi. Even though he's from Sham. So in Sham, you still have Nashqabandi. They also have their madaris in that region, even up until today. So you find that in Sham, a lot of those people who are like Ahnaf, they'll go to Sham, because you still have a lot of Hanafi that are there, Muta'assib. And with the previous government, they accepted them. They have a total, that the previous government that had been removed in Sham, in Syria, that they were somewhat more lenient towards Tasawwuf, Nashqabandi, and all those ones. But as for Salafi, and for them, Ikhwan, they were outlawed and banned. And so if you're Salafi, or as they see to Ikhwani, then you're completely banned in that country. Or it could be in that city, then that you'll be arrested and the likes. But if the people were like Sufi, then Mashi al-Hal. Then you have concern of contemporary. Then we mentioned like Adwa al-Bayan by Muhammad Amin al-Shinkiti, one ulama from Mauritania. So also he has a tafsir which is well famous, which is I mentioned Adwa al-Bayan, that he tried to explain the Quran bil Quran. So it's Quran, explain the verse with the Quran, but he takes a lot of stuff from Al-Qurtubi. He takes a lot of stuff from others. Then you have then you have also one of those scholars of Tunisia. Yeah. Whatever. Oh, okay. Right. So there's one called Ibn Ashur. He's Usuli and also Lugawi, but also the book in tafsir of contemporary, considered to be that a renowned book in tafsir of contemporary time regarding matter relating to the language, which is called, they call it different, but the print today still is not a proper print is out. There's not a proper print, but the book itself is considered to be, you understand, a well-recognized work for someone of contemporary times. Ibn Ashur also is like a Usuli, also booking. He does like thing in Maqasid al-Tashri'ah or Maqasid al-Sharia, also in those fields is known. Then also said that of more contemporary times, like in our time now, you have something like we said Muassis, which is institution, or centers that they have now tried to work on certain books of tafsir. So the more famous ones, you have one which is called al-Mawsu'a, they label thing as Mawsu'a, like an encyclopedia. So Mawsu'a at-Tafsir al-Ma'thur. That's about 25 volumes. So the the structure of that book. They try to find for every ayah from all previous works and everything they could find, what was available, explanation of those ayah from either by way of hadith al-nabawiyah or aqwal from the salaf, from the sahaba, tabi'in, atba' tabi'in. And also, if anything need to be discussed or clarified, they could somewhat try to include aqwal of Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, and the likes. Ibn Kathir, they use those as main reference regarding how to explain certain of those ayat. But the important tafsir set of contemporary time. Yeah, first print was some errors. Yeah, read about the third print now. So the first print had some errors, other prints with some addition and some correction. And with the person, if you have already the first print, then they have print like one volume with that istidrak, which would be like the corrections. Then also you have a next one that has came out of recent years. It's called Mawsu'a Tafsir al-Mawdu'i. So for example, in that tafsir, that they'll approach it by way of, they discuss about Adam, all the ayat that relates to Adam, in that order. So you have Adam alayhi salam, all the ayat that relates to Adam, they'll discuss them. As-salah, zakat. So in that fashion. So they call Tafsir al-Mawdu'i. So that's also about 25 volumes. And you have one that they're working on, which is also Luga, concerning all the matter regarding Al-Luga, that concerning that, and that one is still being worked on. Somewhere in Dubai or in the Emirates, they're working on that one. So yeah, and others who have done some work regarding a tafsir. So both said with tafsir, to have like a proper library reflecting regarding matter related to tafsir. So you have books in tafsir. And we have mentioned different type of tafsir. Then also you have book that relates to that ulum al-Quran, gharib al-Quran, mufradat al-Quran, wujuh wa nadhahir al-Quran. So also matter related to usul al-tafsir, ulum al-Quran. All of that, you need something from all of those areas. Independent books. Other than books of tafsir. Because all of those things, they relate to each of books of asbab nuzul. You need books also of that type. Even books that relates to munasibat al-ayat wa surah. So regarding concerning books that discuss what's the relationship between that one surah with another surah. And also one ayah with another ayah. Concerning the ayah that precede, the one that came after before, what's the relationship between them. Yeah, books are also of that nature. So I said that in those areas you have many books regarding nasikh al-mansukh, i'rab, and the like. So the person needs something in all those areas. Then the next area is fiqh, wa usul al-fiqh. So when discussed concerning fiqh, so in discussing concerning matters regarding concerning fiqh, then a talib that regarding concerning fiqh, so regarding discussing concerning fiqh, that it's said that also that's a wide scope. So when we talk about fiqh, the thing that comes to mind is books of fiqh. But in fiqh, that goes along with you have books that we call fiqh, you have concerning matter related to al-fiqh, and most of the time that fiqh goes to said the madhahib al-arba and the few others. So you find back for the person who have books in fiqh, you have books of the books in Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi, and Hanbali. Plus added to that, books of the Zahiriyah. Added to that, we said the books is the ulama al-mustaqil. So you have, for example, Shawkani and Amir al-San'ani, they are from Yemen. That they are originally Zaydiyah. They are not Rafida. Zaydiyah is not Rafidi. So they are Zaydiyah, but they are fraction of Shia. Close to Ahl Sunnah compared to others. But in Zaydiyah, for you to be considered to be a mujtahid imam, to be an imam amongst them, that means that your level of knowledge that you are mujtahid. So likes of Shawkani, San'ani, and Mukbili, that they're considered to be mujtahid in there where they are not obliged to follow a madhab. When you reach a mujtahid amongst them, you're not obliged to follow a madhab. Even though you might study the madhaib. So you find like Shawkani as his own books in fiqh. Then you have Amir San'ani And also next one, which was Sadiq Hassan Khan, who kind of somewhat follow there. They kind of somewhat follow Shawkani a lot. So, so you have those books of that type, where there was that they refer to as the people of no madhab. They don't per se follow a particular madhab. They follow whatever they deem to be correct because they believe they have reached a level of ijtihad where they do not have to follow a specific madhab, but they take from all of them. But what they think are deemed to be correct. So also the matter regarding concern of we find that lately online that become like a discussion regarding that madhahib, regarding concerning they all concerning that is it for the person that you must follow a madhab, or in a way also they try to attack Salafiyya by saying Salafi mean la madhabiyya. So they said they some understand, especially concerning is, and you find most of these arguments are people who are either one that of the four madhahib and amongst the Western environment, that you find that the Hanafis are more very rigid in their madhab, and it's been in their madaris. So in their madaris, they are very rigid, that they believe that you must follow a madhab, and everything that goes with it. Meaning, and that's for the person who have studied. As for the awam generally does not have a madhab. The general people does not have a madhab, because they haven't studied anything of a madhab. So madhahib are being discussed as mainly a person who have gone through a process of what? And have studied. So in most part, the person who said he follows a madhab is because he have been trained and have studied some program, and most of the fiqh program will include one of the madhahib. So I think the person, so they see it as those ones who are, you understand, we said that the Salaf and the Salafiyya is against taqleed al-amma and ta'assub ila al-madhab, that the person who rigidly follow everything is madhab. I'm Hanafi, from A to Z I accept it, whether it is right or wrong, whether dalil or no dalil, then that's wrong. Because you can't say everything that is in the madhab of Abu Hanifa, Shafi, Hanbali, it is correct. Everything from A to Z is correct? No. So those things that are not correct, whether they are 10%, 2%, 5%, whatever percent it is, am I obliged or are you obliged to follow it? The persons are muqallid or are studied. If you believe, I've come to know that particular method, that 5% of that method is incorrect, are you obliged still to follow it, knowing that it's incorrect? Then if he says yes, then Allah musta'an. Then you haven't learned anything. If you believe that you still have to follow something which is incorrect, then you haven't learned anything. You understand? So in all the madhab, you find things which is incorrect. So Salafiyya doesn't per se hold a person who said Salafiyya doesn't mind a person, is allow a person to study a madhab, but with intention as a curriculum, as a structure to follow regarding how to study, but not by the person have to believe that everything that is mentioned there is to be followed. And everything is studied by the person know the masala, the issue that is being discussed, the surah of the masala concerning what is to be understood regarding what is being discussed, the dalil, wajh istidlal. So the person know what's the dalil for that madhab, what's the evidence that you're using, and third, wajh istidlal, and also wajh, the way and how that evidence is used. That's the rule of a madhab, or studying to a madhab. The surah, al-masala, what's being discussed, dalilu, what's the evidence, wa wajh al-istidlal, and how he has come to a conclusion. So that's the method that you follow. So Salafiyya is not against this. But what is against, and the Aimma from before, even Aimmat al-Arba, against a person taking position without dalil, or a person taking something that he knows to be that an ijtihad from the Imam, and he made and in your conclusion that was an error that was made, but then you're still following him. Then that's a problem. So if a person said, I'm going to take everything from madhab, and you have studied, and you have noticed, and you have come to find out there's thing that is incorrect, and you're still following it, then I said, then there's no purpose of you studying. There was no purpose. Because you're still like the person on the street. You're still like the person on the street in the end. Naam. So let's to know that, do you know the adil of the Imam? The adil of the Imam, yes, because it's in front of us, in his books, or book, your people. So either adillah would be from adillah that is well known. You can't come out to that adillah that is well known. Quran wa sunnah wa ijma wal qiyas and whatever else, so we'll know what the dalil that he's using. Now we have to see that the evidence he's using, or the evidence, does it fall in line with the thing that he's trying to, the rule that he's trying to to give. That's it. Don't make it complicated. Nam, but we find that the people are muta'assib, they're trying to make it complicated. Nam, it's like listening to the person said, the matter that's going on in Palestine is complicated. What's complicated? Because you just don't want to speak the truth, so you make it complicated. Now, so when a person tells you that something is complicated, they're just trying to lie to you about the reality, or they don't want to accept the facts. Now, so you find those people are muqallid, trying to make things complicated. You're not like the Imam. No one said you have to be like the Imam. Because we can say the Imam compared to Abu Bakr, who's a'lam? Abu Bakr, Ibrahim al-Nakhai, compared to Abu Hanifa, so you have people preceded them. Now, so we're not saying that they're ma'soom. Don't make them ma'soom. Don't make them a person who's infallible. They are people that we benefit from, and we're not ignoring or rejecting their level of knowledge, nor are we ignoring their efforts regarding what they have given to this ummah. We acknowledge this. But we still have to critique their positions. We still have to critique their positions. So for them, that's a problem. So said with fiqh, that for the person that study fiqh, said of the madhab al-arba, they said of the other madhab, we have al-zahiriyah, because they have their own system in place and books, and of those who istiqlaliyah, who doesn't per se follow madhab, Shawkani, San'ani, Sadiq Hasan Khan, and others. Then also, so in fiqh, you have also books that relate to al-qadha. So a person study fiqh, either go into usul al-fiqh, qawaid al-fiqh, qadha, or al-fiqh. And also you have fiqh books that are fiqh al-maqarin, which is the comparative fiqh. Now, that of recent, there's a book that just came out that is Mawsu'a al-Madhab al-Arba, al-Fiqh Madhab al-Arba, where the person tries to count, it is in 25 volume, where he tries to, in every masala, try to mention the 4 madhahib with their evidence. So you have those those efforts that are there. So a comparison sense of mention the madhahib with their evidence, and then kind of somewhat try to critique each view. So those are books regarding concerning fiqh. So that for the Talib al-Ilm also have beginner's book, intermediate books, and also a book which is mutawwalat in fiqh. Now, then a person who's depending on the madhahib, you might find said the person who's Hanbali shouldn't just have only Hanbali book and nothing else. Or Shafi'i. So if you're Shafi'i, you should have some books. If you're Talib, you should have books of the other madhahib. So you can take from their source directly, at some time when other madhahib quotes other madhahib, they're not that precise or correct. So you need to see from the other side what they're saying. Then so that's concerning al-fiqh. That's concerning fiqh. The next of those areas is regarding that is regarding al-hadith. So regarding concerning ilm al-hadith. So said in general concerning ilm al-hadith, that books that relates to mutun. I would say those mutun either concerning al-asliyah that come with isnad. Bukhari, Muslim, Kutub al-Sittah. I would say that the least for a talib, in any talib, the least he must have, that's a must, not optional. For talib of the Sunnah, he must have Sahih Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawood, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, wal Nasa'i, wal Muwatta. And if he's in fiqh, and Ibn Khuzaymah, as Sa'id ibn Khuzaymah, Ibn Hibban, al-Hakim, al-Mustadrak. That's what, 10? How many I mentioned? About 12? 11. So those books he should have. Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawood, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, Muwatta, and even Ibn Khuzaymah, Ibn Hibban, Mustadrak al-Hakim, and what else I mentioned? At least those. The one that we mentioned as the other additional one, their book that the author kind of somewhat they stipulate also for their books that is authentic. That's how we add them. They stipulate that their books is authentic. So other than Kutub Sitta, wal Muwatta, those other ones, Ibn Khuzaymah, Al-Hakim, wa Ibn Hibban, that they stipulate also that their book, what they collect is also authentic. So the person should have access to those books. He said as hard copies. As hard copies. And if he's into fiqh, then he should have a Sunan al-Kubra lil-Bayhaqi. If he's into fiqh, he should have Sunan al-Kubra lil-Bayhaqi. As he can, with the next 20-something volume book. A next 20-something volume book. So that those are concerning books of Mutun. Then you have the other ones, which are the common books that we said. So you have the books of Bulugh al-Maram. Have access to those books. Umd al-Ahkam. What is that day? Riyad al-Salihin, Al-Azkar. So those general books that a person should have access. The talib should have those books because the awam, the general people also, they are familiar with those books. So you should have access to what everyone else have access to. And in a hard copy. Then you have books of Shuruh. That has, so you have those books of Shuruh, of Hadith. So a famous one, Bukhari, and its famous explanation. So you have at least 3 explanations. 3 explanations. At least. Or 4. Fath al-Bari, Ibn Rajab, Fath al-Bari, Liman, Fath al-Bari, Ibn Rajab, Fath al-Bari, Li, and then that's Fath al-Bari. We have 2 Fath al-Bari. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. Then we have Al-Aini, Umdat al-Qari, Lil-Aini, Aziz Hanafi. So those books that one should have. Then also you have Sahih Muslim and also its explanation. And each of the books of the Sunnah try to have some type of explanation of the books of the Sunnah. And also books in Mustalah al-Hadith. So books of Mustalah al-Hadith also they go in many. Those are many books. So the main ones, Kitab al-Muqaddimah ibn Salah, Nukhbat al-Fikr, Nuzhat al-Nazar by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. Then any of those Muqtasarat of Ibn Salah, which are many. But a person should have at least 5 books in Ilm al-Mustalah. 5 books in Ilm al-Mustalah, the least. Then also books of Takhrij of Hadith. Then Irwal al-Ghalil by Sheikh Albani. That's more for specialists. That area is more for specialists. So concerning, so you have books of Takhrij and books of Ilal is more for specialists. Irwa al-Ghalil by Sheikh Albani. So that's a book where he did a Takhrij of the books of the Hadith of Manar al-Sabil, which is a book in Hanbali fiqh. And even missed some hadith, so you have others who have added to what he missed. You have others who have added to what he has missed. So I said that now regarding concerning Ilm al-Hadith, you have those, then you have different books, and then you have Ilm al-Ilal, which is more, that's more ear for people of Hadith. That's more per se for ear for people who specialize in the Hadith, and also Kutub al-Takhrij, but those, the simple ones, that to have access to those books, to have access to those particular books. Then you have books of Jarh wa Ta'dil, and that's more for people of Hadith. So books of Jarh wa Ta'dil is more so for people who specialize in Hadith, to have such books on that particular topic. So the book of Ibn Abi Hatim, the book of Al-Bukhari, Al-Tariq Al-Kabir, Kutub al-Du'afa, Thiqat al-Ibn Hibban. So those books are for people more who specialize in that particular field. Then after then you have books of adab. You have books concerning books of adab. Books of al-adab was suluk. So also the talib have books that relates to all the books of Ibn Qayyim. So you have like a muassis that did some work on the books of Ibn Qayyim, that they have gone over 60 of his books that they have done. Over 60 books that they have done of Ibn Qayyim or more so. So like 2 big boxes of books. That's all books of Ibn Qayyim, that a person that those books, you give attention also to the books of Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah and books of that topic, of books of that topic. So you find the books of adab, that there are many. Books of adab, adab al-dunya, the Mawardi, book of Maqam al-Akhlaq. So having those books of that type, also Talbi needs to collect of those books. So I said those are books. Then you have a next matter that we'll try to answer, books of particular ulama. So you have certain books that are written by particular books that is identifying particular scholars that their books are important. Getting their book is important. Now, so you have those scholars will be, if you see their name in a book, then khalas. So you have those names that are names and said that you have of the past and also of the present. And you have people that are said to be muhakkik people. They edit and check books. You have many of them. Some are decent and some are not that decent, and some are known to be precise. So I said the ulama, books that the ulama should have said that are just general books that a talib should always have. And their names, you see their works, and you try to just gather them. So you have books of, what will be of those names? The ulama, that if you see their name, then it's sufficient to get their books. Names? Ibn Rajab, Al-Hanbali. So you have Ibn Rajab, rahimahullah, Al-Hanbali. So his books are Muntaz. So even recently said you have those that have gathered all his books are Rasail. Some of his Rasail together is smaller books into like 8 volumes that recently been printed. It was printed before, but a new publisher have done some work again on his works in 8 volumes, and that's without some of his more larger works. So Ibn Rajab rahimahullah, he has a book that is called, he had an explanation of a Tirmidhi. That we have a portion of that book. And the portion that we have is the last part of the book of Tirmidhi, which is called Jami' al-Sa'a ila al-Saghir, where he explained that book, and it's in 2 volume. 2 volume. So a person wants to know about complex matter regarding ilm al-ilal, then that's the book to read. One of the books to read, which is Sharh ilal al-Saghir li at-Tirmidhi. Li Ibn Rajab, by Ibn Rajab. But I said those books are for people at advanced level. Those books are for people and advanced level. So you have Ibn Rajab. So of the also the name, famous names, Ibn Rajab, Ibn Hajar, who else? Al-Zahabi. That's 3. Ibn Rajab, Ibn Hajar, Al-Zahabi. Who else? Muzani. Muzani have a few books, even Shafi. But if you say Muzani, khalas. But he does, he have a few books. Al-Muzani rahimahullah. Shafi Saghir. Then you have, those who are known for writing a lot. Now, we said Ibn Rajab. Who else we said? Ibn Hajar, Al-Zahabi, Ibn Kathir. So Ibn Kathir also, of different books. We have Ibn Qayyim, Ibn Taymiyyah. You have some? Ibn Jawzi. Ibn Jawzi, the thing about his books that he said like Hatib al-Layl, that he writes a lot of books, but sometimes it's just that he just throw everything in. You understand? So you have some good, but then also you have some things that you don't want. They said Hatib al-Layl is the person that you're going to, he wants to get wood, but he goes at night to gather the wood. So he might bring back a snake. So you have those who write a lot, but sometimes their book is not that. You understand? You have good, a lot of good, but sometimes you have something that needs to, you understand, it's not needed. It's not needed. other names. So you have also, of the others, you have Ibn Abdul Barr. So you have one called Ibn Abdul Barr. Also, his books are Muntaz. Ibn Abdul Barr, rahimahullah. Then you have Ibn Hazm. Also have many books. But said Ibn Hazm is Zahiri. So you have to kind of somewhat be mindful of this. So his book is not necessarily for the person, the beginner. And his books in fiqh, sometimes he can be very harsh against others. Against, especially also A'immat al-Arba. You understand? He use very harsh words. That's not befitting for a talib who's beginner to read those words. Then you have, Ibn said, you have some that there are many works. One those who have many works. So Ibn Hibban, rahimahullah, that ain't not that many works. So said those who authored many books. You have some that are known, but they're more for us. So you have Hanbali, Sahib al-Mughni, Ibn Qudama. So you have Ibn Qudama, have many works that are important and they are in print. We have Shawkani, San'ani, Siddiq Hasan Khan. We have of contempt, then you have Muhammad Abu Wahab. Then we have of contemporary, we have Ahmed Shakir, which is mainly Tahqiq. Then we have Abdul Rahman al-Muallimi, but that's more for hadith. You have some scholars, they are only known by people in their field. Even though they're on the highest level, like even today I mentioned a certain field, especially in hadith, that mention those names to most people, they wouldn't know them, but only people who especially in hadith will know them. But they won't be known to most people. Even people of different science will know them, especially the ulama of hadith. Of others' names that are there, you have Sheikh Albani, of Olive Works, Ibn Uthaymeen, like Ibn Uthaymeen books, will be a library by itself. The works that Ibn Uthaymeen, but even also that you have a muassis that are going some of his work, because sometimes his work they need to be, so you have, but his works, you have Ibn Uthaymeen, I've read about just about everything. So his works also important. Sheikh, tafaddal. Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, they go together. So you have other names, Bismillah. So let's add a few names. Let's discuss the last matter. So of other names, so you have of contemporaries, we have Ibn Uthaymeen, Sheikh Albani. You have like of contemporaries, like you have some muassis trying to put us on the works of Sheikh bin Baz. But you find that Sheikh Albani work was things that he wrote with his hand. Some of the works of those mashaykh, sometimes it's things that have been transcribed, which is a bit different. Also, you have Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd, of those who wrote many books, but a lot of small book, but also his writing style and the thing that he wrote in was of a next level. Then you have of those. Then the next matter regarding concerning books in Aqidah. So I said books in Aqidah, that you have books that are musnada from the ulama of old. Those are the books considered to be, they're considered to be the asas of ilm al-aqidah. Their books become the source of books of aqidah. So you have the books of al-Ajuri, which is al-Sharia, al-Akai, Shar Usul Itiqad, al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, al-Iban al-Kubra, Ibn Battah. Then you have Qawam al-Sunnah, al-Hujjah, fi Bayan al-Mahajjah. So those books, al-Tawheed, Ibn Khuzaymah. So those books are books that they come with isnad, and the books of the ulama of old. Al-Harawi. So you have others who have written on this particular field, so their books are. Then you have the books that come as Muqtasarat. That you have like Usul al-Sunnah, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Kitab al-Barbahari, and the likes, al-Muzani. So those books are Muqtasarat that discuss some masal of Aqidah. So those books, those books are explained. Those books then, the small ones, Tahawiyah. So I mentioned before that the book of Aqidah Tahawiyah, that is a book that is somewhat accepted by both sides of the fence. As-Salafiyah, Ahl Sunnah, Salafiyah, and also Al-Maturidiyah, they use that book a lot. The Maturidiyah, like the ones from Hind, from that part of the world, because Tahawi is Hanafi. Initially was Shafi, then he turned Hanafi. But also in some of his books, so they rely upon his books a lot. So the book that he wrote in Aqidah, that when the start of the book, he mentioned that this book is a reflection of the Aqidah of Abu Hanifa and his two companions. But there's Masail there's some Masail that is corrected upon. You understand? But for them, they see that book, so they use that book a lot, type of thing, and other books that they use. But when they try to be athari, they kind of somewhat go back to, we call it Tahawiyah. So there are many explanations. There are many explanations, more than Ahl Sunnah, of the book of Aqidah Tahawiyah. So he said there's not a lot of books of Muqtasarat have been explained by the ulama of contemporary times. Then you have the second type of books in Aqidah, books of that are concerning Abwab Mustaqil or Abwab and Khas, books that are written on specific topics. Kitab al-Tawheed, on a particular topic, which is matter that relates to Tawheed al-Ibadah more so. Alright? So Kitab al-Tawheed is not discussing Aqidah in general. It is more discusses more specialized or try to discuss matters, some of the matters that relates to Tawheed al-Ibadah. So matter regarding Asma wa Sifat, there's not much detail on that topic. So you find books that have been written by books on Asma wa Sifat that are separate books by themselves. So you find a certain famous book which is, for example, Al-Bayhaqi, has a book called Asma wa Sifat. He bring a lot of riwayat, but then Bayhaqi, then he make ta'wil of the Sifat. But as for riwayat, it's good. As for his ta'wilat, then that's the next matter. You understand? That's the next matter. Then that is to be looked at carefully by those who are specialists. So you have books that discuss Asma wa Sifat, books that discuss Tawheed al-Ibadah. Then you have books said for a personal Sunni that is out there, then you have books that discuss certain Masail, al-Istighatha. Because now today you find concerning al-Bidah, that this matter regarding, so you find that they are now said that they're trying to revive this matter regarding the areas regarding al-Istighatha. You understand? So you have that now discussion. So say some of the brothers who are discussing the matter, I don't think they have read anything detailed on the topic. You understand? And that sometimes a person is trying to defend something, but you haven't read thoroughly on the matter. You know, a general view, Ahl Sunnah is on this line. But when you have a discussion with someone, there's a different level of information. You understand? So you find the brothers who are online try to discuss this matter. Sometimes they fall into traps not knowingly. And different those matters. So, and sometimes if the person admits, no, I don't know, or in the sense of, I don't want to discuss this matter. Because from the information that he's given, he hasn't studied the matter in depth. So you have istighatha of those matters. Yes, the matter regarding what they said, you have like a new effort regarding trying to revive the matter of al-Asha'ira. There's now a pull or a push to revive this madhab of the Asha'ira. So matter regarding Asma wa Sifat, which the difference between Ahlul Sunnah, As-Salafiyah, and the Ash'ari is not just about, it's not only restricted to Asma wa Sifat. Ash'ariya in matters of Arkan al-Islam, they have problem. You understand? So matters regarding Asma wa Sifat, matter regarding Al-Qadr, matter regarding concerning Iman bi-Yawm al-Akhir, they have issues. Matter regarding Tawheed al-Ibadah, they have issues. Matter regarding Masail al-Iman, they are Murji'ah. You understand? So they have issues, not just, but sometimes a person might think it's just in one particular area, but the issues are across the board. So I said, but you find people trying to revive this method. So you have those matters. So I said, books on particular topics. Books on particular topics that a person has to read books on those specific topics, especially those topics said to be hot topics that are being discussed today. Even matter, so you have a next matter regarding Kutub al-Rudud, which is books of refutation. So you have the books of ulama who have refuted before. Ahmad bin Hanbal, his son Abdullah, have a book that he Rad ala Jahmiyyah wa Zanadiqa. So he has a book that refute them, but he has a method that he follows. So refutation of rules and guidelines. They said the person who refute said that in refutation today, like in the West, from those who claim a sunnah, the one that claim sunnah, ask that person, have you ever read a book regarding what are the dawabit al-rad al-mukhalif? Have you ever read a book? I will believe that he will say no in public, because if he say yes, then I know which book you have read. And I'm going to ask you which book you have read. And most of the books that are read are read by people that I know you're not going to read their books. You understand? So the topic has been discussed by people, but it's not people that he would read their books. So what are you reading? To know what are the guidelines to be followed. So a lot of what is mentioned regarding al-rad al-mukhalif is things that are taken from fatwa of ulama, and you take it as rad al-mukhalif. So you take a sheikh and he refutes someone, so his refutation becomes your source of reference. You understand? It's not something that you have studied. It's not something you study, because those who have written on that topic, you most likely you would not read their books, you will burn their books. So we're getting information from the Rutha. When they do it, they say they're following no guidelines. They say they're not following any set guidelines, because they haven't read on that topic in depth. And if they have read anything, okay, what have you read? The books, name the book and the author. Two things, name the book and the author. So those books of Rudud, yes, it's something that is there, but also it has its own rules and guidelines. And it's not about, it's about Izhar al-Haq. It's about a person trying to bring forth the truth. It's not about trying to defend yourself. A lot of time concerning Rad al-Mukhalif, it becomes the person that you're trying to defend yourself and your group. That's all it's about now today. You understand? So you find a lot of stuff, a lot of those discussions go to which sheikh you follow. It's not about which sheikh you follow. What is the haqq? And we follow it. You understand? So you find a lot of those things that goes somewhat in different direction. Then also said in books, so said you have those books with Musnada in Aqidah. Then you have the books which is Muqtasarat. Then you have the books with Shuruhat. And also you have those books with Al-Rudud. Then also you have books regarding Al-Adyan. Books that relate to different other religion and even other sects amongst the Muslim. That also a person should study. Since a person is special in Aqidah, then you have to study other religion to some degree. And also you study regarding the different Islamic groups. What are the things that you understand, what they're upon? What they're upon and the end result. What are the things that they coincide with Ahlul Sunnah and the things that they have left Ahlul Sunnah upon. So Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Jamaat al-Tabliq, what is out there. And all the things that we hear people calling. What they actually represents. What they actually represent. And then you can somewhat you weigh out what they represent based upon the book and the Sunnah. So those are the things, so said the person studying, then he has to have books in all those areas. Have books in all those areas. And most of the Tullab, Allah said not most, you find some, a lot of the books that they have is of contemporaries, and that's not sufficient. The books that you see that is used or mentioned are books of people who are still alive, in most part. You understand? That has a benefit, but it's not the full picture. That's have benefit, but it's not the full picture. Now, to the extent sometimes for a person might go into his library, and the book that he is highlighting and praising, and right beside it is the book of the Salaf. So they're praising the book of someone who's contemporary, and a person who's of the book of the Salaf. That really, you understand, for the people who knows that book, it is the book that it's the shining star, but he doesn't know, and he just move by it and give a great praise to something of a person who's still alive. Says it no, that's a khata, that's a great, that's a great error. That's a great error. With that, inshallah, we end. Wabillahi ta'ala tawfiq.